Hello and welcome back to Democracy, everybody. Welcome back to Helldivers 2, where today we're going to be talking about what if they add armors to every type of passive. Because I just recently talked about the top 10 best armor passives in Helldivers, and I'll probably be doing a whole list of them, similar to how I just did, like, grenades. So those will probably be showing back up again. But when I was going through this, there's a lot of armors that don't necessarily have all versions of that armor. Like, not everything has a light, a medium, and a heavy. So let's go over each of these and see if they were good. Also today, if my lighting looks a little bit weird or my green screen's clipping in more so than what it usually does, my light just died over here, so like I got a replacement coming, but it's dead at the moment, so we're working with what we got today, I guess. Anyway, let's go over the armors. The very first one that we're going to be talking about is called Feet First. So this one is a passive that makes it so you're more stealthy whenever you're moving. It also increases the point of interest identification range, and it also gives immunity to leg injuries. This came with the Halo Warbond, and it's only on 2 sets of armor, and both those armors are medium armor, so there is no heavy and there is no light armor for this. Now, the medium armors themselves are decent. Like, this passive is okay. The extra, like, leg protection is actually pretty nice because getting your legs broken is the most annoying part. The other parts of this are okay as well. This does kind of scream like light armor to me, though, when I see, like, this passive, because, like, making less noise and increasing point of interest range, that seems like something light armor would really like, since you're going to be moving around a lot more than, like, medium or heavy armor. And it also kind of lends itself to, like, the stealthy armor or the stealthy set. So I don't know why there's not really a light armor for this. I think light armor for this would actually be pretty decent. The immunity to leg injuries would still be good because you could still keep running away, and it kind of fits with light armor as well. If they made a Feet First heavy armor, I don't know if this would actually make any difference. Like, heavy armor is not really a thing that you want to be running around from point to point with, assuming that you're doing, like, super credit farms, or you're going for, like, metal farms, or sample runs, or whatever it might be. Heavy armor is generally not really the set that you want to go with there most of the time. Immunity to leg damage would still be nice, because heavy armor can take quite a bit more of a beating than the other 2 armors can. So, like, this might actually play a role, because that is pretty annoying when you barely get hit in heavy armor. You still have, like, almost all your HP, but your leg did get broken. So you're just going to stim up anyway, because, like, you're not going to be just waddling around going slower than what you already are. So, like, this could be potentially useful on, like, heavy armor, but honestly, I see this being way, way more useful on light armor. So it would be really cool if we got a light armor version. If we never get, like, a heavy armor version of this, I don't think it matters. I doubt we're also going to be getting many armors that have this anyway, simply because this was a collab. So unless we get, like, another Halo collab and they add in more armors, that's probably not going to be a thing. Our next armor that's missing here is the Integrated Explosives armor, which this one only has a light and 2 medium armors. This one's kind of weird, and honestly, it's not really that great of an armor overall. It did get better when it got buffed. So this one has a similar effect to Engineering Kit, where you do get 2 extra grenades, which is good, and you also explode when you die, which can also potentially be good or bad, depending on where you explode and who's around you at the time. If you explode on a bunch of enemies, then that's pretty good. The explosion does do a lot of damage. You can, like, one-hit chargers, you can one-hit hulks with this, so that's good. And I think a heavy version might actually be better than, like, the light or the medium armors. I kind of get the light armor, because light armor, you don't really have that much effective health. You can die pretty quickly, even if you have, like, the health booster on. You still die pretty fast to just about everything, so, like, I kind of get the explosives on there. Medium armor is, like, the most flexible armor, so it kind of makes sense to have it there. But heavy armor feels like this would kind of work, to have kind of a kamikaze armor on you. I feel like heavy armor would actually kind of benefit from this, because heavy armor, it does take you usually a while to die in heavy armor. But when you usually do die in heavy armor, it's almost always when you're surrounded by a lot of enemies, or when you got, like, picked off by something that just hits really hard, like a tank cannon killed you, in which case, you know, it was going to kill anybody, and you probably weren't going to get any value from your explosives anyway. Then we have Acclimated, which was part of the Killzone collab, and this one, you could either buy the medium one, and you just got the light one for logging in during the time of this. So Xbox players don't have anything that's acclimated, and if you weren't playing at the time, then you might not have any acclimated armors anyway. Acclimated makes it so you get 50% damage resist towards fire, gas, acid, and arc damage, which is an okay passive. That's not too bad. And unlike the free light armor, this is decent. It's not my favorite light armor at all. I do prefer things like the extra padded light armor, or, like, even the medic light armor if I kind of want to have like more tankiness to it. Or like the newest armor with the Stormtrooper armor. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Desert Trooper, I think. This one, I think, again, would kind of benefit from having a heavy armor is already pretty tanky, and getting damages towards basically everything is kind of nice. That being said, though, honestly, I don't think that this is really missing anything, and I don't think that this one's even going to be coming back just because of the Killzone licensing and everything. So we may never get Acclimated again in the game. If we do, then they'll probably be adding in more armors, which could be cool. Some of the Killzone stuff does look really cool. But like the Killzone collab was kind of a mess overall in Helldivers anyway, since it was out for a very limited amount of time. They put a bunch of stuff in like the superstore that costed a lot, mostly like the assault rifle, which at the time it was a pretty good assault rifle. Now, not so much, since it can't really have any attachments to it, and it's kind of just okay at doing everything. Like, I haven't seen anybody using the Killzone assault rifle like since the weapon upgrade system came out. Like, there's been nobody using that. Even people that I know that have like a ton of different weapons, like 20 plus weapons maxed out. Then we have Siege Ready. Siege Ready does not have a medium armor. It's got 1 light armor and 2 heavy armors. And this one's kind of interesting because you would think this one would have a medium armor, because this one seems like a general purpose everything type of armor that you would get. But instead we got like a light and a heavy that are in the War Bond, and then a heavy that's in the Superstore. So it's a little bit strange there. And this one I think would benefit heavily from a medium armor, mostly because Siege Ready is just a really good passive effect, because medium armor is typically pretty good against everything. Like, you can take a beating in medium armor, you don't really have movement speed penalties from it, and it kind of goes well with anything, against really any of the races. Like, it's fine against bots, it's pretty good against bugs, it's pretty good against squids. So like, yeah, medium Siege Ready armor would be fantastic. I hope we get one in the future. And speaking of things that I really wish come in the future, would be an Unflinching heavy armor, because right now we have 1 light armor and 2 medium armors. And for a while, Unflinching was probably the worst armor passive in the game, when it just made it so that sometimes you didn't flinch when you got shot, but it being on medium and light armor is kind of weird, since it seems like it's best used against like the bots, since they have the most ranged attacks. And it is nice when you're not flinching and getting shot, then you can shoot back a little bit easier. But against like the bugs and squids, it didn't matter too often. Once it got buffed, it became a whole lot better. Once it got like part of extra padding and part of scout thrown on there, like, that was actually really nice. And at least the Doubt Killer armor, the medium one that you get from the Superstore, is really cool looking. I really like that armor in particular. It's actually pretty good. Like, the medium armor is pretty decent. The light armor is also pretty decent. I do like taking that one because you can at least survive like an extra hit or two. It's not as good as like the extra padded light armor. I think that one's a little bit better for the same job, but the light one does look really cool from here. So yeah, like a heavy one would be awesome. Heavy extra padding is already really good. Heavy armor in general is really good for taking damage, and being even tankier is really nice. As well as it kind of fits this one the best. Like, you're supposed to be able to tank through hits as you're moving. There's also no heavy lightning armor either, which is interesting. I'm not sure why this is either. There is 2 mediums and 1 light armor for the arc resistant armor, which gives you 95% electricity damage reduction. This one can be pretty nice, especially if you like taking like the Tesla Tower. You can still die from this if you stand in the Tesla Tower, but it will make it so if you get near them, especially on like Illuminate missions, you don't really have to worry about it. I don't think the electricity armor is all that great in the first place, because there's just not a whole lot of electricity in the game. Like, worst case scenario is you're going on an Illuminate mission and everybody brings like the de-escalator, which was kind of an issue like a couple patches ago when we got the de-escalator, because people would just spam it out so quickly and not really be thinking about like surroundings, so electricity might arc to you. But now you don't really see the de-escalator too often, at least I haven't in a lot of my games. I don't think it's bad or anything, it's just that there's new stuff and people want to play with the new stuff. So like, de-escalator might be a problem. Arc thrower occasionally could be a problem, because that one does at least pop up on missions fairly often, so you might actually be able to find it and zap something. Blitzer's another one that could zap you, and Blitzer's a pretty popular weapon, but I still don't usually find most people using Blitzers to zap me. So like, it would be kind of cool for a heavy version of this, but generally speaking, like, you don't really need a heavy version for this, so I don't think this would really change anything. I think everybody would still be running like the lighter medium armor, unless like the heavy armor just looked really cool or something, or you were specifically taking an electric build on like bot missions or something. There's also no heavy scout armor. This one I don't really have a problem with though. Like, a heavy scout armor seems kind of redundant at that point. Like, you would think almost all the scout armors would be light armors, and you'd be right. There's 3 of them that are light and 4 in total, one of them being a medium one. Scout definitely seems like it should be a light armor bonus. And I mean, there are some other armors that kind of skew this way too, like Fortified has like, I think it's 8 total armors, and like more than half of them, like 60 or 70% of them, are all heavy armors, which it kind of makes sense. And it kind of makes sense for like light armors to be here. If you added a heavy scout armor, I think it would change absolutely nothing. I don't think anybody running scout wants to run heavy armor as well. Maybe you could use it on bot missions if you just find that you're dying a little bit too fast and you still like doing objectives kind of sneaky. But it seems a little bit redundant then. It seems like you would probably want light armor or just jump up to the medium armor if you want a little bit more tankiness. I think scout armor is perfectly fine, and I think adding heavy armor would do nothing for this. And then our very last armor passive we need to talk about is Democracy Protects, which this only comes in medium armor. There is no heavy armor, there is no light armor, and none of the armors actually vary at all from one another. They all are exactly the same in terms of stats, which makes them kind of interesting because, like, Democracy or Protects, I think is probably one of the weaker passives in the game since it gives you a 50% chance of surviving a lethal damaging hit. And occasionally that can be really good. Sometimes you can roll it on crazy stuff, like a Titan can step on you and you're still perfectly fine, and you can have a 500 kg go off right next to you and you're still perfectly fine. And you can have a Hell Bomb go off next to you and you're fine. Other times it's not going to trigger and it's not going to do anything. So that's kind of whatever, and I do find other passives to be a little bit better than this for this same type of role of being tankier, especially with medium armor. Like extra padding I think is kind of a better bonus here because it just lets you tank through a whole lot more. Fortified is better if explosives are something that you're scared of. I think that's a whole lot better of an option. Or something like Medkit where you can just actively keep healing yourself and have more heals. I think that's kind of better for the tankiness aspect too. This one is really fun though, and I don't blame anybody who really likes taking this and just doing the coin flip, especially if you take like Hellbomb Backpack, you like taking like 500 kg, or you like taking like the 380 or the 120 barrages, even Napalm Barrage, that doesn't really work, or at least it probably won't work most of the time. Walking Barrage, I guess, too, if you want to run with the Walking Barrage, or if you're kind of getting used to it, then Democracy Protects is fine. If they added this to a light armor and a heavy armor, that would be pretty interesting, because I think light armor could actually benefit from this pretty significantly, because, like, there's not a whole lot of ways to make yourself tankier in light armor. Like, the best way in general is going with, like, the extra padded light armor, and you have, like, the health booster. And with that, you are substantially tankier than pretty much all the other light armors, because you have so much more effective health. There is a fortified light armor, but I don't find it to be all that useful, since you still don't have that much effective health. Like, yeah, taking less damage from explosives is good, but if you're gonna do that, I find, like, medium or heavy to be better. And there's also like a light medic armor, which is decent. That one's actually pretty good, mostly because it has higher armor rating than the other light armors generally. So that certainly helps it. But giving it something like Democracy Protects, I think would actually be really good, because in light armor you die really fast, especially compared to medium or heavy armor. So just having the chance of not dying, this I think would be pretty good. I think this would actually be a really good passive on light armor. On heavy armor, I honestly don't think this would matter at all. If you put Democracy Protects on heavy armor, like, yeah, you would occasionally get benefits from it to where, like, the few things that can one-shot you wouldn't one-shot you. Like, you get hit by a tank, or you get hit by one of the bots, like, turrets, one of the giant turrets that's the cannon. Sure, or surviving, like, a direct impact from, like, the Factory Strider's main cannon. But those don't happen that often. Like, sometimes you remember them happening, but they don't really happen all that often. Usually when you die in heavy armor, it's because you get swarmed by a bunch of stuff. So, like, I don't see Democracy Protects being a very good option for heavy armor. If you want more tankiness in heavy armor, you should probably go with, like, Fortified, or the extra padded heavy armor, or, like, the Medic heavy armor. I think those ones are better options for you. And that does it for all the armor passives that actually don't have all of the armors for them. Which ones would you be most excited for? Me personally, I would really like a medium Siege Ready armor, because Siege Ready is just really good and you might as well give it to everybody that wants to play every type of armor. I don't see why not. Unflinching heavy armor sounds really cool too. I definitely want that one. And then like a Democracy Protects light armor. I think those would be my like 3 go-to ones, because I'm just curious, like, how good would Democracy Protects light armor be? How often could you actually shrug off things that should kill you and you just don't? Like, that could actually be really good. Unflinching heavy armor, I'm curious to see how strong it would be as compared to, like, the extra padded heavy armor. Would it be pretty much on par with that and you get a few extra bonuses? Or would it be just, like, kind of okay and maybe you'd still end up going with extra heavy? And like the Siege Ready one would just be good because it's a good passive. So tell me your thoughts on this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.